Hello, amazing, badass Benzo warriors. It's Debbie. I have not made a video since I think last November, so it's probably time to just do a quick update because there's probably a few people out there that are like, good God, did she die? Um, nope, I've been down, but I am not defeated. So, for those of you that maybe aren't familiar with my story, and I haven't shared that since my first video, really, I'm just going to give you kind of a quick update from there to here so that things maybe make a little bit more sense. Anyway, so I'm currently, well, I was tapering clonazepam. Right now, I'm holding on my clonazepam, but um, I was doing a very, very slow micro taper for, gosh, about 2.5 years. And by micro, I mean like 2 to 4% a month. And I was doing that because I own a gift shop. It's my only source of income. I don't have a spouse, boyfriend, anything like that. So it's really important that I stay functional. And I was for the most part. It wasn't like awesome, but I was able to work, run a business 5, 6 days a week, anywhere from 7 to 9, 10 hours a day. So, anyway, gosh, right around this time, February, the brand that I was on, Sandoz, went out of business. So I had to make a switch. And I tried Activist, was not good. And so I decided to switch over to brand Klonopin, and it was a wretched switch over. I did it really slow, like over 6 weeks, and I was sick for like a good 2.5, 3 months. I mean, I was still able to run my business and function, but it was tough. And honestly, I never really felt that good on Klonopin, but it was like, you know, I, I didn't really have much choice at that point. And then I did, pretty much stabilize, felt like I was ready to start my taper again. So I did that in September, and in my previous video, it explains the whole mindset that I was in at that time, which was really, really confident and really, really sick of tapering. So um, I made some really crucial mistakes, which was changing my water titration formulation, changing the way I tapered. For the 2.5 years, I would make a cut, once a week, or whenever I felt like I could make a cut and then hold. But I decided to make cuts every day, small cuts every day. And then the biggest mistake I made was like bad math, really bad math, bad math. So, like in a nutshell, I thought that I had, only cut X amount, and it ended up being like a huge amount. I think it was like 25% or more, like quickly, like within a week or two. And then about 3 weeks after that, crashed bad, crashed bad. And so, you know, looking back now, I really don't even know how I made it through the first probably 2, 3 weeks. I mean, it was horrendous. It was laying in bed or on the couch and literally getting from moment to moment. And I can't tell you how many times I wanted to call like 911 and have them come pick me up. But there was a big part of me that's like, yeah, well, so all they're going to do is haul you off to the ER and probably jack you full of benzos, which just, while tempting, it seemed, was not really a viable solution. So I just kind of got through it. And then I was starting to feel better, so that's when I made the video in November titled Mistakes. And then, I really don't know what happened. I just started going downhill again. And um, probably the most significant symptom that I have battled is vertigo. Bad, horrible vertigo. I mean, I had times where I could barely like go from like the couch to the bathroom without like feeling my way to it along the wall. A couple times almost passed out, went to the ground a couple times because I didn't want to just hit it hard. Um, and then I got stuck in the trap that I think many or some of us get stuck in is the nope, it's not the benzos, it's something else. And so I went through the whole gamut of blood tests and I had an MRI done. I had an ultrasound on the veins in my neck. Totally convinced it had to be something else besides the benzos. Well, come to find, I guess the good news is I'm incredibly healthy. Um, and yeah, just the benzos. Um, so I did start some physical therapy, but the thing that is kind of interesting about what has taken place over the course of the last few months, which I think speaks to the power of our mind and how much, in many ways, we're just like Pavlov's dog when it comes to training our minds and our bodies. So what happened was I would go like to the store, I would go to my shop, or I would go someplace. And by the way, I was not working like at all. Um, anyway, I would go somewhere, I would get really, really dizzy, which would make me really, really anxious. And of course, the normal response to that is danger, danger, danger. Go home and lay down in bed or on the couch. And that's what I did. And I did that over and over and over to the point where I started associating just like being out as like danger. It was like a trigger. It was like a PTSD kind of trigger. And so I just stopped going anywhere. And I think it's about as close to agoraphobia as I ever hope to like get to. Because seriously, at one point, probably about, oh gosh, I'm going to say 6 to 8 weeks ago, I tried to go out and just walk to the end of the block. And I literally could not do it without having a panic attack and thinking I was going to pass out. So, like, so not cool. Um, I think I did mention in earlier videos that I did start counseling, which has been an absolute lifesaver through this process for a lot of reasons. But in terms of dealing with this vertigo and now this newfound like anxiety response, because basically what happens is, I get out in public and I start to feel a little dizzy, and then my neck and shoulders get like super tight and hurt really bad, which then just like makes me more dizzy, and then I'm stuck in this horrible loop. So anyway, what I'm doing now, it's called exposure therapy, and it's unpleasant because no one likes to feel panicky and fearful. But it has helped. So I've gone from couldn't literally walk a block from my apartment to I can now actually go into Walmart without freaking out. Not that Walmart, even on great days, is an awesome experience. Sorry for anyone that works there. And I can actually go into my shop now 2 or 3 days a week. I can only do it for, maybe 2 or 3 hours a shot. Um, but that's a far cry from where I was. So I am making progress. But again, that's just kind of an example of how slowly we can devolve into thinking and behaviors that are really counterproductive. And of course, benzos um, are the perfect catalyst to making that happen. And so I think that it's worth at least pondering, what is benzos and what is becoming learned behavior. And I think, there's a fine line there because we all know that benzos create a lot of misery. Um, and it is hard to distinguish, I think, at some point in time, what's the benzos and what has just become thinking and behavior that's caused by the benzos. But again, I would maybe encourage everyone to just start doing some of that thinking and um, just being more aware of it. Because again, if you've watched my other videos, you know what a huge advocate I am in terms of our thoughts and how powerful they are. So, um, how did I get through the wretched months? Again, a lot of it was just my thinking. You know, I don't know if it where the voice came from. You know, maybe it's just my soul, or it was God, or I don't know. But I was always able, even in the worst of it, to say, "I'm going to be okay. I am going to be okay. I'm going to be okay." Um, and every night that I went to bed, I told myself, maybe this is the last bad day I'm going to have. Um, and now I'm not saying that, you know, I'd get up the next morning and it would be a shitty day, and that wasn't disappointing. But um, I did actually start to have days where the next day wasn't as bad as the day before. And so that was encouraging. Um, and I also used one of my favorite sayings a lot, which is do not give up 1 minute before the miracle. So I think one of the takeaways from, you know, this experience is that it got really bad for me. Um, but I am getting better, and it's slow. And look, that's the frustration with everybody in this process, or with most people anyway, is that, you know, the tapering sucks. The post tapering healing can be really rough. And, you know, we all hear it a lot, or feel it, or think it, which is, I'm never going to heal. I'm never going to heal. Um, I've damaged myself. I mean, I really believe that. I believe that I had crashed myself so bad and had somehow done some amazing, irreparable brain damage that I was never going to come out of it. And I have. I mean, I'm going to say I'm only about 75%, you know, and it's been 4.5 months. But I am getting better. And so, you know, I try to be realistic, because again, it's so easy to get into the catastrophic thinking and the black and white thinking. And there just isn't anything good that comes of that. So, you know, I'm going to feel shitty, but I can either feel shitty having some good positive thoughts, or I can make the shitty even worse by just catastrophizing. I probably said that wrong, you know, or, you know, shitty thinking. So, um, yeah, I guess that's just the message that I want to share with everyone is, you know, no matter where you're at in the process, that I know that we're going to heal. Um, and it's hard, it's frustrating, it's disappointing. I mean, I'm going to tell you how disappointing it is in terms of my own process. A year ago, I was down to 0.16 of my clonazepam. And then I made the switch over to Klonopin, up dose to 0.22. That was disappointing, but it's like, well, you know, it is what it is. Well, through this last 4.5 month fiasco, I've now updosed, and I think I'm at 0.35. So, um, you know, I'm twice where I was a year ago. Like, oh, awesome. And I could dwell on that and go, shit, you know, it's hopeless. Um, but on the one hand, I look at it as this whole thing started for me, I'm going to say probably about 5 years ago, from the time I started taking clonazepam, was on it for a year, year and a half, you know, the tapering, the switching over, this current disaster. Um, so in a way, I can look at it and go, okay, well, I'm halfway there to being done. Um, and I've learned a lot, and I have every confidence that when I get to the place where I can start tapering again, uh, I feel like I know as much as I can possibly know about how to do it right and slow and take my time. And believe in my heart and soul that it's going to be better. And the other thing that I read somewhere in the last couple months, which made me feel a lot better too, is that not everybody is successful on their first shot in this process. I mean, the statistic is it takes for a lot of people like 1 to 3 tries before they get it right or they're able to do it. So that makes me feel a little bit better. I don't feel like such a loser. Um, but none of us are. I mean, we all got trapped in this shithole, and we're all going to get out of it. I mean, we are. The body, again, it's made for healing. It's made for healing. And so for a long time, I felt like my body was my enemy. Our body isn't our enemy, it's our best friend. And we have to love it and we have to encourage it and we have to tell it it's doing a good job because it is. I mean, it's fighting one hell of a war to get us through this. So, um, let me just check my notes real quick and make sure that I covered everything. Um, I think that I did. So again, I'm still here. I'm still fighting. I am getting better, and we're all going to get better. And again, that's my message. So just be strong. You're amazing. You're powerful beyond belief. And we're going to get through this, and it's going to be awesome, and we're going to go live amazing lives. So if you want, subscribe. I'm going to try to start making more videos, and then you can hit the notifications. My next video, what I do want to talk about, just kind of a preview, is childhood trauma. Because again, since I've been going through counseling, I've learned some things that um, actually affect my tapering and how I physically and mentally feel. And I've learned some things that I think hopefully will be helpful to anyone else that's experienced childhood trauma. So take care. I wish you all rapid, awesome, amazing healing. Lots of love, big hugs, and thank you so much for all your support. Have an awesome day.